G'day everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Daily Endeavours for the 19th December. As always, there'll be timecodes in the description just to jump ahead if you're looking for one thing in particular. Before I get into Endeavours, I just want to cover the New Life event stuff. Just going to go through the vendors, just show you what's available. It's just mostly stuff we've had before. The Julianos spider mount is now, you can get all the fragments of that. So yeah, it's if you want to get that, now's the time. So there's also Golden Pursuit. I'm currently doing the stuff for that. That'll be in a separate video, so don't worry, that's on its way. It's a pretty easy set. Most of the stuff here is pretty straightforward shit. Okay, so firstly, just cover the two main vendors around the starting areas. Like this one, for example, the Event Exchange. Impresario has this weird, I don't know, it's like a neon blue Argonian sort of themed fish spoon set. So yeah, if you want this one, that's available. So yeah, it's got this weird colouring here. The set that you get from the Golden Pursuit is also similar, like the costume. You also get the, as I said before, you get the Julianos spider. That's probably the main thing I think people will be looking for. This thing here. You've also got the costume, the Julianos costume, whatever it is. You've also got the pet that relates to the Julianos set. In the other one, for Philia Stormia, you've got the Demonic Quasagriff, you've got the Thought outfit, you've got the weird Fortnite Akotosh armor, and you've also got the pets related to those two. You've got the dragon, and then you've also got the flower one. So if you want to go straight to the event and start it off, there is a portal here which will take you to Eastmarch. Even then, you don't have to take that. Eastmarch is pretty easy to get to. Using home tools, you can use Enchanted Snow Globe Home to get straight there as well. But yeah, this is just the easy way to get there. The stuff available from the Impresario for that house, this is a preview of the house if you want to check it out. It's like a big sort of between the Valenwood and Cyrodiil areas. It's like a jungly sort of imperial styled house. It's like got a fair bit of islands or verticality stuff going on. And then just I'll also go through the Indrix real quick. After the Indrix, I'll just show you the how you get your tickets and your boxes, which is a part of what you do for some of the Golden Pursuit stuff as well. So in Craglorn, you've also got the Impresario here with the portals to the various stuff. The Indrix right now are the Pure Snow Indrik and the Crimson Indrik, as well as obviously the Nascent Indrik. So in your lorry here, you'll get all the berries, the feathers, and you'll also get the pet versions here. If you haven't been to Craglorn before, quickest way to get here would be using Elnir Private Arena. Just travel west from there, and yeah, just come over here. If you want to know how Home Tools works, if you aren't familiar with it, I've got a video in the description, just a tutorial on how Home Tools works. It's pretty straightforward. It's like having a bunch of way shrines unlocked straight away that you can just use whenever you want. And they're free, that's the main thing. You don't have to spend gold getting there. I should also point out now that the game is currently on sale. It's 33% off for the, or is it more than that? I think it actually might be more. It was like 32%. Oh, sorry, not 32% off. It's 66% off then. That's what I meant for that one. I feel like no. If it was 100, it'd be 25% off. Yeah, it's basically only 33% cost right now. The crowns are also on sale, but most of the low tier stuff. This one here, even then, it's only like 40% off. So, yeah. But that's like the equivalent of like the best crown sales you get these days. You used to get much better sales, but yeah, they're pretty stingy on their crown sales. What this will mean, though, is expect the crown gifting stuff to go, to the value of that stuff to go down. Gold to crown ratio. So, yeah, you might be able to buy DLCs for a little bit cheaper, generally on those markets. But yeah, you always want to be careful of just buying from random people. I've heard it's very scammy. Okay, so if you want to get yourself your event tickets and your boxes, these quests here, you've got Breda over here, you've got is that Anarchus? Yeah, Anarchus over here. I mainly go through Petronius here. This guy here, all you got to do is go to like a bunch of random locations in specific areas. For example, there's one over here. I believe it's over here? Or maybe it's over here somewhere. There's like just a statue that you got to pray to. And it's the same everywhere you go. It's just a statue. You just press E a bunch of times around it, and then you go back to the this thing here. Now, if you don't want to travel all the way back, you can use home tours with Enchanted Snow Gloam Home to get straight here and hand the quest in, instead of having to either run all the way there or spend gold on the way shrine. But do consider, as long as you haven't traveled to a house or like a house in the recent past, the cost of like traveling back to this way shrine will be lower than the amount of gold that you get from completing this quest. So you can just travel here and it will still be a net positive for gold gaining. So just keep that in mind. There is no complete quest or an event ticket daily today, though there will likely be some in the near future. Though that being said, the weekly is complete quests and the God Pursuit is currently complete a lot of quests. Though that being said, you should just be doing this every day for the tickets anyway, and you also get the event boxes for this. So 3 birds with 1 stone, very easily using a single quest each day, essentially. And you can do the other quests if you want. They're just a little bit more work, I find. But maybe the, especially like the writ, the charity writ ones might be pretty good. The only thing about the charity writs is some of the recipes or like the blueprints for those items to craft require heartwood. Heartwood is quite expensive. So yeah, just be aware of that. Alright, now, let's get into endeavors. Now, spoiler, they're pretty shit. In my opinion, if you don't have any DLC, Alchemy and Weapon Poisons only do those two. If you do, if you specifically have Blackwood or Murkmire, or you're willing to do some of the DLC dungeons that have these Stone Atronachs in them, then yes, do that. And you're willing to do those, because those are quite tough to do. But if you don't have a DLC, I would just do these two, call it a day. Wouldn't even look at these ones. These 3 here are pretty fucking awful, if I'm honest. They're some of the worst endeavors in the game. I should point out, I do have a Stone Atronach dedicated video, because I used to get a lot of shit for like people telling me to like stop messing around so much with the other endeavors and just talk about Stone Atronachs. So yeah, for those people, there is a dedicated video for that. So if you're just looking for that, just fucking watch that video and stop giving me shit. Holy shit, did I just fucking teleport? What was that? Crafting with Alchemy. The only thing I suggest you do is use poisons, because you craft 4 times as many items with a poison as you do with water. Now, if your alchemy is fully leveled, you can use water because it will craft 4 at a time. But if for like the most of the people, like I would say, if you're full leveled on alchemy, you're probably not watching this video. So yeah, Ica here, at a base, it crafts 4 poisons, meaning a single poison solvent and a single pair of reagents, and you can immediately complete this. Now, what you need to do is check this word here. This is the big cheese that impacts this one here. If it says inert, don't craft it. If it says unknown, like that, that's good. Because unknown means, yes, this combination will work, you just don't know what the combination is going to create. So, yeah, there's a lot that work. Now, there are some items that you're absolutely going to want to avoid using in these things. Columbine is a great example. Clamgall is pretty expensive. Dragon's Blood, Dragon Ream, also very expensive. Wouldn't use these myself. Let's have a look. Powdered Mother of Pearl, also another one that I wouldn't use. Torchbug Thorax, surprisingly expensive as well, even though it's pretty easy getting them from Torchbug nodes, as long as you know where to find them. But yeah, usually quite expensive. Violet Coprinus, also relatively expensive. And Mudcrab Chitin as well, also quite expensive. Everything else is pretty fair game. And if you just want an absolute, like, if you want to know what I personally would use, I'll have in the description a list of a bunch of what I personally use. Things like Blessed Thistle and Dragonthorn. These 2 here are both very cheap and quite plentiful. Another combination that I like using is Blue Entoloma and Whitecap. this pairing here, I usually see tons of these because they're not really used for much else. Whereas some of these other options, the reason they're so expensive is like either they're a pain in the ass to get, or they're used a lot in specific recipes for poisons that otherwise you wouldn't be dealing with this stuff here. So yeah, just check the description if you need. But yeah, just as a baseline, just make sure it doesn't say inert. Just make sure it says unknown. Water Hyacinth and Dragonthorn. These two also work. So there you go. So it said unknown. Now it worked. So there you go. Okay, next up, let's talk about weapon poisons. So I guess you could use the weapon poisons that you make with this, but you might only get 4. So you'll just want to have a backup. So in this game, in the monthly rewards, you tend to get a lot of crown poisons. So if I just take a look here, we would have got some recently, a couple of days ago, if you've been doing this. But yeah, just keep an eye on this stuff here. You can also get them for crown crates if you buy that shit. But yeah, these are pretty plentiful from various sources. So yeah, if you've been doing at least some of the monthly rewards, you should be getting some of these. If not, any alchemists in the game, like that location I was at in Stonefalls, it's just right here, the alchemists sell poisons, and you can also buy them from guild stores for very cheap. So just be aware, if you're going to use a target skeleton for this, which is, a viable option, you cannot use the hindrance poisons on them, because hindrance poisons don't apply to, or you can't slow target dummies. And yeah, I don't know if it's the case now, maybe they fixed it, but I remember I tried to get hindrance poisons working on them, but yeah, it doesn't actually work. Yeah, the other poisons should be fine. So the main thing to worry about with poisons is if you read the tooltip, the second paragraph, 20% of all light attacks, heavy attacks, and weapon abilities. The only way to get this to fire off reliably is to use AoE weapon skills. So what I would advise you do is get things like Wall of Fire, if you're a magic build, something like Blade Cloak as well. Blade Cloak's good. So I'll just chuck this on the front and then have Wall of Elements going too. And then you could also use something like Whirlwind. If you're a magic build, you could use the Scribing Explosion, or you could use Impulse as your spam ball. You could also use Unstable Wall though. There's nothing wrong with using that. So what I would advise you do is, just grab a couple of AoE weapon skills and then chuck poisons on... You can chuck poisons on both bars, however, you can only... They all share the same global cooldown, so even if you put both of these different poisons on different bars, only one will fire in that 10-second cooldown. That's the only really annoying bit. So you can't just apply 2 at once. So yeah, at minimum, this is going to take 100 seconds. And you also got the issue of like going to enemies and just waiting for the poison to actually apply, especially if there's not many enemies. Yeah, it's going to take maybe 3 or 4 minutes at least, I'd say. But yeah, you can really speed this up if you find some basic enemies to fight. So yeah, what I'm going to do here is just go Blade Cloak, your Wall of Elements, and your poison should start firing. So yeah, we got one there. But this person's just come in to kill everything. So if you're able to keep them alive for longer, you could just keep applying that. And this is one of the issues I have. I don't like using places like this because everybody else is going to try and kill this same stuff. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, there we go. Got another one to fire. So you just keep doing that, basically. And yeah, eventually you'll get through with the poisons. There's a third one. Got some more enemies over here. Just do the same thing. Now, because you have Infinite Archive, and I guess you could also try this in Battlegrounds if you're really, if you're willing to, I guess. But yeah, I personally wouldn't myself. Now, there is another way you can do this. Let me show you something else. There's a way to basically AFK this. But yeah, if you're willing to do the cycle bosses with a guildmate, which is just a painful option, you'll probably apply your poisons, all 10 of them, while you're doing that, because it only takes a couple of minutes to apply all your poisons. It is going to take you literally half an hour to do the guildmate cycle bosses one. to a guild hall or just a house with a target dummy, you can go over to it and heavy attack it. Especially if you can get this with dual wield or with a lightning staff. These are both really good because what you can do is you can just hold down the left mouse button and just heavy attack. And what it does is it applies two lots of light or heavy attacks at the same time, and you will have a higher chance of applying your poisons than just one attack at a time. And what you can do, I don't know if this is an option you can just have on Linux. I imagine you could get macros on there though. What you can do is on PC, I imagine for console controller you can just like sticky tape the R2 button or something similar. Yeah, if I just go to mouse setting, bring this up here, so go down to the bottom, go additional mouse settings, turn on click lock and apply. Leave this window open because you want to turn it off again in a minute. Hold down the hold down the left mouse button now, and now I've let go of it, and it'll just keep attacking this thing for me. So now I can just hop up, do something else, or read up stuff if I want, and then this will just get it done for me. And then you just hold the left mouse button down again to stop it. And now all we do when you're done is just uncheck the box, apply, and OK. Or just press OK probably there. And yeah, that's it. So if you want to just apply your poisons in a guild hall, you can just do that. Now, if you can, or what I might do on NA, my house over there, I've got the target dummies in there set up in like a big, I've just got a big bunch of them bundled up. If you put a AoE skill on them, you'll pretty much fire your poisons on that group immediately. So if you want to do it as quick as possible and like not have to worry about other players much, that's a really good way to do it. Because the target skeletons, they don't fight back, they have a lot of health, so you just have plenty of time to actually kill them. Or apply the poisons at least. And I'm going to set that up on EU as well. I just haven't done it yet because I haven't quite had the economic power to be able to just buy a bunch of those real quick. But yeah, I'm looking at doing that for sure. Alright, it's time to look at Stone Atronachs now. This one here, there is only one real way to do this that I think is worth bothering with, unless you're like a very capable damage dealer who can do dungeons, specifically like on your own, because getting a group for this shit would probably take long, like way too long. But there's two dungeons you can look at. So in High Isle, they're both pay gated, by the way, though. So Earthen Root Enclave here, the first area has 5. You have to kill the 3 before the boss, and then the boss itself spawns these things over and over. But this is a tough thing to do on your own. So yeah, just be prepared for quite the challenge there. Same thing with Moongrave Fane. After the first few groups of enemies, it takes like 5 or 10 minutes to get through them. You can skip them though if you have a Nightblade with a cloak. Same thing with most of the enemies for the Earthen Root Enclave one. But yeah, those groups themselves have Stone Atronachs. So, but yeah, this one here, you've got the Risen Ruins, the first like secondary boss. That is a Stone Atronach, and after that, you'll just start getting them in those areas. And you'll get 5 after that. But again, quite a tough thing to do. Now, the other option is it's very weird, but it just works. Todd Howard. The Mire Gaunts over here. There's also 2 in the Silent Halls, the public dungeon. These ones here, I find them to be dead more often than the ones in here, over here. And you've also got Vunalk over here, which has a Mire Gaunt as its boss. So you must have the Blackwood DLC for this to be fucking manageable of some degree. Even then, they're all overland. They will sometimes be dead. And even though, like, you want to keep them alive, because it's not the Mire Gaunts that give you the Endeavor, it's the fucking things they spawn that give you the Endeavor. And people just fucking kill them after they spawn all the stuff. It's so annoying. Okay, so there's one that spawns here, and then another that like roams over here. But you also have one up here that people seem to forget about most of the time. So I'll see if that one's available. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Alright, while I'm waiting for one of these things to spawn, you can also find them in Murkmire. These are the only 2 locations where you'll find lots of Mire Gaunts. There are like boss Mire Gaunts in some other various locations, but yeah, they're far and few in between. In the northern section of Murkmire, you'll probably find 4 or 5. Some of them are like quest bosses though, and some of them are named. But yeah, over these, like this section here, I know there's one in this region here. I think there's also one up here somewhere. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there's like 4. Yeah, you basically just got to go to like the outskirts of Murkmire to find them. Okay, beautiful. Here's one. So, again, do not fucking kill these things. Leave them alive. Keep spinning around them, because a lot of the shit they do is like conal attacks in front of them. These are what you're looking for. Kill these things here. If there's another player, let them get some hits in on these things. But avoid dealing damage to this guy as much as possible. Try and tab target these things if you can. And as you can see, they count as stone Atronachs. This guy here doesn't count as one. So again, don't fucking kill him. After a little while, he'll summon another pair of them. There they are. So tab target them again. Keep spinning around him to prevent him from locking you in place. Okay, we just need one more. So if random players could not kill him for fucking 2 seconds, that would be great. And there's another one over there anyway, so... Okay, there you go. Kill that one. And now let's get the fuck out of here. See? It's as simple as this. Use your keys that are away from this boss, or this dude, and just run away. And he will de-aggro eventually. Look at that. You can't even see him anymore. Okay, there he is. Yeah, just walk away. Leave him alive, man. Fucking hell. He doesn't even give you much XP anyway. And there you go. You have done a considerable good thing for your fucking community. So there you go. That's probably the only way I would do this one, using my gaunts with the stone totems that they spawn. Want easy access to this location here. Normally you have to go all the way over here from here. You can skip that if you use this house in Home Tours, Willow Pond Haven. Just travel here, go down here to this Wayshrine. Also get this one maybe too, but they're about the same distance away from this thing. So either of these is fine. As for Murkmire, probably go with like Maya Zenmir to do that one quickly. Otherwise, yeah, you're coming from all the way over here to here. And all the Maya Gaunts are over here. There's none, as far as I'm aware, in the southern section. Right, yeah, if you're going to use these ones here, I wish you luck. Players just tend to fucking kill them all the time, and god, it fucking drives me mad, as you can tell. Okay, so next up we got alliance points. So I never bother doing this one, because while the potential for this one is quite quick, it is usually so fucking difficult to actually do it fast. So especially like if you're good at PvP, probably it's fine. But yeah, if you're not, it's just fucking not even worth bothering with, I think. Alright, so there's 2 ways I would try and do this. One is through Battlegrounds. It will take some time. Battlegrounds will take 10 to 15 minutes, and you're going to need to do 2 at least, if not 3. And the queue time for Battlegrounds can be quite long. It can be anywhere from like, could be 5 minutes, could be 15 minutes, could be an hour. It depends on the amount of people available, the time of day, yeah, who's ready to go, all that stuff. So, yeah, it's probably going to be quite slow. The other options, if you have like Murkmire or Blackwood, using Stone Atronachs is definitely going to be better. Now, each battleground, as I said, between 2 and 3. If you win a battleground, you only have to do 2, because 15,000 alliance points. If you get second place, you get 7,000. So if you get second place twice, you only get 14k. So you're gonna need to do another battleground. It's a fucking pain in the ass, but yeah. And then yeah, so whatever happens, the next one doesn't matter. So yeah, that's one way you do it, and that's sort of like the slow but sure way. Now with Cyrodiil, you can also get alliance points for doing certain things. One of the fastest ways to get alliance points is to take a bunch of strategic locations. Those being resources, keeps. You've got your outposts, you've got your towns. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. I guess you could take scrolls and do the scroll quest, but that's like the only real main thing I would probably go for is just like keeps and outposts. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes Cyrodiil is so slow that just nothing happens. And sometimes if you try and go take something, the only few players that are left in that campaign will just go straight there and take it back again. Like the entire map will be one color. But if you manage to get there, because usually the way it works is just either like Grey hosts will usually have a couple of people, and you might be able to just go with a bunch of players in your faction and go grab a keep. But usually the other campaigns, the way they work is just one faction comes on, just takes the whole map, and then they leave, and then another faction comes on, takes the whole map, and then they leave. That's usually how they work. Not always, but yeah. So if you can rock up, like for example right now, Daggerfall looks like they just... Oh, actually, so Ebonheart's on right now. But usually, yeah, one faction will just take everything. So if you come on and you can see that like one faction is just slowly taking everything on the map, then you might be able to get away with just going over, helping them take the keeps and just making it easy for them. And as a reward, you can get some alliance points that way. So keeps, I believe they're 8,000 alliance points to take each, and a outpost is 6,000. So I think 2 keeps is enough. Or like a keep, an outpost, and like a resource. Resources, I believe, give you 2,000. There's also one more thing to consider, that in the overview, just check here. If you see a little icon next to the faction, that means there's a bonus for anything that you do based on 2 things. It's like the underdog, which whoever the lowest performing faction is, they usually get a bonus, and low pop bonus. So if like 2 factions had a higher population and one didn't, that lower population can get a alliance point boost. Not always though. It's always important to check though. So yeah, that's something you can do. Apart from that, honestly, the only other thing is like going and killing players. But like, especially in this day and age where the only people that really play PvP anymore are either the like ball group streamer groups that are just basically impossible to kill, or like hardened PvPers who are basically also impossible to kill. So I don't really see that being a good option to try. Only if you're like incredibly good at PvP, and at that point you're probably not watching this video anyway, so I don't really see that as a moot point. But they're honestly the only ways I would do it. And if I were you, I would just skip this one. I'd just do all the event stuff and just fucking just put this one down for a day. Tomorrow's set will probably be much better. Now, if you do intend to help someone take some keeps or some outposts, you are going to want some siege weapons. The only ones you really need are ballistas, battering rams, and you could get oil if you're trying to defend keeps at the same time. Because I guess I should say that defending a keep, especially if you manage to defend an outnumbered keep, flaming oils are a great way to defend. But yeah, if you can do that, that also is a great way to get AP. Defensive ticks can sometimes be quite large, but it has to be quite a big battle. Yeah, I wish Vengeance was still around. If Vengeance was on, it'd probably be a little bit easier, but yeah. Yeah, so Stone Trebuchet is also good. Yeah, these 3 here are like your mainstays for Cyrodiil. You can also get 5 ballistas if you're going to defend too, because they're quite handy and quite easy to use. Yeah, like I said, I'd just skip this one myself. Right, 4 cycle bosses with a guildmate. So let me just go through a way to easily make yourself a guild, because you can just, if you're in a guild right now, you can just go like ask people if they want to do Infinite Archive for this. The good thing about Infinite Archive with a guildmate, if you do it as a duo, it's much easier than doing it solo. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this with 2 of my accounts, just to prove that you can just, no matter how good your other player is or how bad they are, you can solo this shit. It's not that bad. The only thing that tends to get in the way, especially in solo play, is some of the cycle bosses are fucking pains in the ass. But I'll show you a way to reset the whole place if you get a boss that you just don't want to deal with. Okay, so a surefire way to make sure you can do this. So firstly, you can just go to Group Finder and just look for people in Infinite Archive here. And there is a way to easily put people in your guild that you can just make yourself. So what you do is you go to guilds here, G key on by default. Go to creating and joining guilds. If you haven't made one yourself, you can create a guild here. And honestly, it doesn't matter what you call it. I'm just going to put my face on my keyboard. Yep, great. So I'll just call it that. And yeah, so all I need to do now is go to roster, add member, and I'm just going to add my other account here. So we'll go, you can either go through the @name, or you can also use the character name. So either of those works just fine. Now I'll just accept it on the other one. So there. They're in the guild now. So at this point, you're ready to go. So you can just group up like that, and then just group up. You want to do this before you actually. I just want to make a warning here. You do want to make sure you create your guild and then add them to the guild before you get into Infinite Archive, because I've had issues in the past where, for some weird reason, I've created the guild and then they've entered the guild, and then I've done that in Infinite Archive and it hasn't counted for the Endeavor. So just do this before you enter the Archive, just to be safe. Alright, so finding the Archive, it is located here in Apocrypha. It is located in this DLC zone that costs money usually, but it is a base game thing. So everyone's got access to it. So before we begin, this hourglass here, if you use this, it resets the whole instance. So if you end up getting a boss that you just don't want to deal with, there are some that I just fucking can't stand, like the dragon, that like, it does like a flyby and it just fucking insta-kills me whenever I do it, so yeah, I just can't be fuck fighting that. You can reset the whole place, get some different cycle bosses, and just make it easier for yourself. If you do, however, want to go all the way, 4 cycle bosses, 2 stages after that, and then that is the Arc, which is the final part of doing the quest. And the quest does give you 500 Archival Fortunes, which, if you want to get stuff from Infinite Archive, is really handy to have. Because that's like the single most amount of fortunes you can get from a single thing in this place. It is a fucking hell of a grind trying to get everything if you want all the items from the shops. So yeah, getting as many as you can is good there. Now the only thing here that can sometimes be weird is if the player is not close enough to the door, it won't bring them in with you. I've had it happen sometimes. There we go. Yeah, even though they're like right next to the door, I've had them sometimes show up. Now, this character's probably going to get fucking pummeled, because they tend to go for someone who's like not doing much. But I don't know. So yeah, there they go. Already someone's over there. Now you can use your poisons in here if you want. You'll probably get it done very quick compared to doing the cycle bosses themselves. There you go. So every stage will have start with a small group of enemies. You'll have ranged and melee enemies in the groups. And then every third wave will have an extra enemy in it. So this next wave will have usually have a bigger enemy in it too. Let's have a look. Yeah, there they are, the Lurcher. Not a big fan of the Lurchers. They have a fucking backhand attack that just it comes out really fast and does a shit ton of damage. This one's been pretty nice to me so far. Yeah, there we go. Heavy attack. There we go. Okay, so that's the first stage done. Now we start getting a verse. So every stage that you do, every cycle that you do is going to give you a power-up. These verses are what you get for doing stages. So these are buffs that last 1 round, but they are usually incredibly powerful. I say usually because some of these can be fucking terrible. Archival Assault is an example of one of the ones that's fucking terrible. There's only like 2 assault skills, and they're both not... well, I guess you also get Trample now, but that's 3 skills, and once a fucking channel, which are a cast time, fucking hate cast time skills, you also can't continuously cast it. You gotta wait like 1.5 seconds after you use it. There's also Caltrops, which is just damage over time effect, and then you've got Proxy Debt, which is useless on bosses because it deals increased damage based on how many targets it hits. And if I am correct, isn't it only to players? Well, no, each enemy. Okay, so it's fine. Yeah, 4 seconds, and then you have to recast it. Like, I hate this one here. So I'll just get this one here, because that one is so terrible that I'm not even going to use it. Even though, like, I try to use offensive ones whenever I can. Because most of the offensive ones in this game are actually quite good. Alright, what do we got here? Nothing good. So both players have to grab the verses to progress. So it'll be the same thing here. Group of 3 enemies, there'll be a ranged enemy. What I like to do is go to the ranged enemy, because the melee enemies will follow you. The ranged enemy will try to stay away from you. Okay. I'm not going to use any ranged enemies on these guys, because you can see this like stink shield that they get, that stops them from taking damage from ranged attacks. It reflects them back at you, so you'll start killing yourself if you're not careful. Alright, what do we got here? Got another big dude. He's gone straight to my other character. Alright, got this guy here because he's doing the flame shield on everyone. Okay. And again, just sticking on the ranged enemies because the melee enemies are just sticking to me, so I don't need to worry about them. Now the ranged enemy's dead. Deal with the rest of the little enemies, and now the big enemies just farm on their own. Okay, done. Should probably swap to my damage build now. Right, what verse we got? Transfusion, really easy. Basically, you can't die when you got this up. I guess that's okay. Let's see what the other character has. Maybe they'll be better to play this one. Augmented areas. Yeah, that could actually be. It's okay. Maybe I could just use Destruction Staff Ultimate on them and just call it a day there. Alright, let's go. Okay, here we go. So this first boss will almost always be pretty easy, and I'll leave it there. Because she does more AoE damage. Okay, it's Gwh. I'll kill this guy first. Yeah, he turns you into a skeleton for a second. Way easier dealing with that than the fucking dungeon version, because he turns you into a skeleton for like a minute. It's fucking rough. Okay. Killing Gwh is always good because he gives you a bunch of good stuff. You'll see him you won't see him very often in this game. He shows up like every now and then in Infinite Archive. Probably like I'd say a 1 in 20 chance to get him on any run. You could get him in multiple, I'm pretty sure. I've had him come up several times, but yeah, doesn't happen very often. So there we go, we got 1. So you have to do that 4 times in a row to get this done. Now, it will likely be much quicker if you have a player with you in your guild, because yeah, 2 people fighting stuff at once, it's way quicker. But yeah, again, I just want to show you, it's pretty damn easy to do on your own. The only thing is, as I said before, some of the later bosses will be fucking pains in the ass. Right, so now we get visions. Each time you complete a cycle or an arc, you're going to get a vision. So these last permanently until you leave this place, but the buffs tend to not be as strong as versus. More XP, not really useful for us because we want to make this do this as quick as possible. Healing over time, pretty good because some of the stuff I do is healing over time. I don't know if siphoning attacks is heal over time though, or strife for that matter. Because it's just like, it's a single heal every 2 seconds. That is heal over time, surely. Anyway, get that one. Okay, so now after completing that verse, we go into the next stage, and it's the same thing, except the enemies will just be different, that's all. So you do this, there'll be 3 waves. 1 enemy at the end will be quite tough, and then another of this. Maybe you'll get a good verse that makes it much easier, and then another cycle with a boss. And the bosses, they'll just be from randomly all sorts of stuff like trials, dungeons, world bosses, quest bosses. Yeah, as I said, all sorts. Now, if you want to leave, say you complete the 4th cycle boss and you don't want to go all the way to Thoat, you can just go through this index, and after Thoat you'll get this as well. This is how you leave. So this takes you back to the foyer, and then you can leave through this portal here to get out. Now, as I said before, if you just use this over here, the hourglass, it resets the whole place. So it just removes you from area, you get taken away. We are now in a different location. You can see the room is different, and if I start the fight, it will be Arc 1, Cycle 1, Stage 1. So it's just reset the whole place, basically. Alright, that's it. It's basically the same thing, it's just like, you get more enemies, and you get like an extra enemy later, but they're, yeah. On the first arc, they don't do much that's going to like really get in the way. Might get some negates which stop you from casting skills. In that case, you just roll dodge out of it. You also get like some abilities, like they make the enemy immune, you just get them out of the circle. That's it. It's only Arc 2 after the first Thoat fight which you start getting some painful shit to deal with. The marauders and all sorts, and all the enemies become more powerful. But if you're just looking for 4 cycle bosses, that's all you really need to worry about. Okay, I'll leave it there. If you have any questions, you know the drill, just give me a holler. But thanks everyone for watching, thanks for your support as always. I'll see you for the next one. Take care for now.